how to deal with pressure and stress. I tend to shut down when my boss asks me to do things on top of things.
Great, great question. That's you know, not only in business, but when we get into the corporate world, either as like working in a company or even as an artist working in the music industry, because here like there's something in common is like the pressure of goals of results, right? Either profits, either revenues, either OKRs, as we say in technology, objectives and key results. So here,
How you say? Oh, key.
OKR, so objectives and key results. So
Oh, okay.
you set up objectives and then you have the strategy, so the key results. It's a framework used to guide projects and to guide companies and actually how Facebook's, Google's, Netflix, those guys actually run their businesses. But there there there's here something in common is that pressure to achieve goals, right? Either profits or revenues and so on. And one of the things that I've realized is that stress, we need to be sure about our value, okay? And I think for that, doing a self-awareness first, understanding that you value and you are capable and you actually can do the things that you are supposed to do, even if you have pressure on top of you from your boss of doing something, you are sure that you will do a great job, you know? Like this is an individual thing. Now, like practical. If you have objectives, right? And you have tasks to do that you have to do until Friday, and your boss asks you, hey, but can you do this like and your boss like giving you one or two more tasks for doing until Friday. So and this is something that was not planned in your pipeline. You have to ask your boss what is the prioritize, what are the tasks that are more important to actually conclude. And I believe in these kind of questions we should do it more, because
Okay.
we have the
Do you
tendency,
think?
Kaysha.
Do you think that? So you mean that a lot of people, when somebody tells them, "Hey, please finish A," or I also need B and C, they tend to just take everything instead of asking to the person that they are that's over them, their boss, instead of saying, "Okay, wait a minute, that's a lot of things. So tell me A, B, C, which one is more important, and then what is the second one most important, so that at least I can finish the one that is more important. Maybe do half or 70% of the second one, and maybe leave the last one for the next week or something." And people tend to prefer being like, "Oh my God, it's my boss, and if I don't finish, I'm
Exactly.
gonna be fired." And then anxiety start, and then they start freezing, like she said.
That's the thing, Kaisha. We tend to we have to understand that we are equal, that we are people first, so we are equal, right? Even though the other person is my boss, but we are here in an exchange, I giving you my knowledge, I giving you my services, and you give me something in exchange that is money, right?
Yeah.
So here we are in an equal situation, even though we know that companies, in terms of dimension, they have more power as an individual. We know that, but still, we have to gain more confidence. And do you know something, Kaysha? Like, this is something that we have to, something that we don't have. Unfortunately, we don't have that self confidence to question things, because this is a questioning, right? Why? Why? Right?
What if you end up with one of those assholes that, because they are just over you, it's not even like they are not the boss, they are at the 10th position in the organogram, but you are the position 12. So they think that, and they start trying to boss you up and bully you and etc. How do you handle that without jeopardizing your opportunities if that person might block your blessings?
That's kind of hard. Back in OLX, when I entered, I had, unfortunately, I had a boss. She was amazing. She was amazing. But I've realized that, I don't know if it was because of biases, that she might had, like, about me. But I've realized that she wouldn't let me enter in some tables, you know. And okay, first I didn't. I thought, okay, so maybe I'm new here, so I have to learn. I have to learn, and actually I have to prove that I'm worthy of being on that table, on those tables. But then I've realized that, yeah, 1 year passed, 2 years, 3 years, and I was actually at the same level. I didn't upgrade, even in my team. Proactively, but lucky me that I am proactive, and I've always tried to find the new projects. I've started and I've coordinated the Voice of the Customer program. It was the first project in OLX Group that actually was taking care of customers' feedback and deliver this feedback to the product teams in order to build products that actually the customers wanted, because before the company was more engineer and product focused. So I'm very proud to say that I was the first, like the first project that actually started to look into the customers. Yeah, but it was something that I created, but still Kaysha, still my boss wouldn't let me in those tables that actually I needed, because in order to influence in a manager level, I had to be like in those tables with the head of product, with the head. And yeah, like that was, and I think it was because of my boss, like that attitude of, yeah, I'm in this position. Maybe I don't like you very much, or maybe I see you stuff that.
Or sometimes I like you, I like the way you work, but I like you under me. And if you work so good, if I let you continue working so good, You might go on my level and maybe over me, and I'm not let this happen. This happened to me a lot in music. A lot of people, they were like, this kid is too intelligent. We have to block him. Yeah.
And
People.
because of that, no, I know, I understand. And because
Some
of that,
people,
Kaysha,
some people can make the work environment unhealthy. That is true.
that is true. That is
And
true.
like Elise
And
said
that's why,
also, people, bosses are people. We should not be afraid of asking them questions. That is true as well.
that I think that was one of the reasons I've always had side gigs helping small companies, restaurants, coffees in scaling their business either through social media, because I'm from marketing. So I've always um, uh, loved to see actually people's ideas, people's businesses striving, and I thought, okay, like maybe it's time to start uh, a sério, like we say in Portuguese, like really to start building
Seriously.
something. Yes, seriously, building something for myself. Um,
So
um,
that's how you arrive, because we went to a question, but we're gonna go back to how you arrived to teaching people.
exactly, because I think I've just replied to the question, right? I believe that we
So
have
you were being in the work environment for these tech companies. You realize at a point, this plus the anxiety attack. So the anxiety attack was before this work environment, or it was the same time?
during was
It was
during
okay during. So
was
then you
during.
decide to take a step back and become more working from home, and then you
Yes,
start
first it was the
questioning.
first step.
So you
Yes,
start
it was the first.
questioning the whole everything that you built, and the direction you were going as a woman in the business, and you were asking yourself, is it really what I want, or do I want to work with people, or how did you go from working for companies making good money to letting this security in a certain way, because making an income. I remember when I was working with a record company, releasing my first albums, and producing artists there. I had a salary. I had a salary based on the amount of money I was creating, but I knew from my calculations, I knew that I was generating way more money. If I think I was receiving something like, I don't remember, like I was money from my shows. I was making a lot of money from the copy, the intellectual. I was making a lot of money, but from the sales, I was thinking, wait a minute. If we sell like 60,000 albums in 1 year, or 70,000 albums, and we make 10 albums per year, that's 700,000. Okay, if we divide by 2, because we're in a partnership, if I divide it by 2, okay, let's say it's 300 or 350, let's say 300. If I divide 300 by 12, I don't have 3,000. And I get 3 or 4,000 every month. And don't worry, the rest we are investing. And for a long time, I was like, I have to sit down and look at all this. But at the same time, I was scared to lose the money I was making every month, and the situation. So every time I would go, I would like, hey, I would love to see the accounting. But every time somebody would tell me a story and blah blah blah, it took me years before I start realizing, wait a minute, I'm getting sodomized here. I'm like, yo, like all my money is being used to build the rest of the company and other artists. that are my competition, other labels, where I'm supposed to be getting 200 a month, a year, 200, 300. I'm getting 40,000, 50,000, but I was doing a lot of shows. So I was more into, it's not about the money, it's more about, what we are creating, etc., etc. But at a point you start asking yourself, wait a minute, like, I think it's time to build my own thing, because if it's to make 40,000 a year, I can do it by myself. Let me, like, if I sell 4,000 albums, I'm gonna make 40,000. I'm making 60,000 albums, and I'm still making that money. Then I start realizing, okay, there's something fishy here. So, did you get to that position where you were like, okay, I want to become independent, but I'm scared? Or because you are driven, you were just like, yeah, it's time? And what was the declic?
the turning point.
Yeah.
The turning point. So actually, I've started to, back in 2020, I've started to give, while I was in the tech company, I've started to give mentorship sessions. Like consulting people like me, from marketing or management, that were lost in their careers and wanted to actually make a change, or enter to a tech company. How to. So I've started to sell those sessions, because I used to do that, like with friends, and people would come to me, actually asking me, and like, this is something that I've always loved to do, like advising people and actually see people growing, and after that, I've realized, after some sessions, that like, this is more than a session. I've started to understand why I'm doing this. Always the why, always the why. And I've realized that when I was at school, I would love to have senior people, like people that, like older people that came to my high school and told me about their experience in the professional world. I think when we enter into the professional world, either corporate, we don't know nothing. Even if we are in university, we are like fishes in the water, like crazy fishes in the water, like walking around
In the corporate world.
Not only in the corporate world, Kaysha. I think it's in the professional area
In life,
general.
life after school.
Yes, life after school. Great, I like that. I think I was still there.
Wait a minute. Copyright. Everything I say is copyrighted.
Oh!
Was good, Malcolm Beats. Jean-C
But
saying, it do remind me my job while I was working at Volvo Cars. Most of the employees use their workers as tools that they need to generate benefits. Yeah.
No,
Indeed.
yeah.
Malcolm say, manera, Sabrina. So yeah.
And I've realized that we don't know, I will say another bad word, we don't know shit about life after school. And I believe that if older people, if more experienced people would share, or actually if we could have like a platform, like something that actually we could connect experienced people, with the new ones, and actually sharing experience. And that's why, and this is how I've started with I Am Academy, Anabela Miranda Academy, with the slogan sharing experience or sharing knowledge. Because I really do believe, that because I really do believe, Kaysha, that you, Kaysha, as an experienced business guy in the music industry, you have
What does it have to
the
do with me?
because I'm giving an example.
Ah, okay, sorry. Good night,
Because I believe
Anabela Miranda Emodi.
é modo e mal como está, direito?
Yeah, go ahead, continue. A guy like me.
Yeah, no, because I believe a guy like you, an experienced guy, 20 plus years in the music industry, with plenty of high songs, you know, like songs that people don't forget. I'm playing. Estou te enchendo o saco, como se diz no Brasil. Um, you have the you have tu tens o dever, you have the obligation, yeah, yes, I think the obligation to actually teach the younger ones, you know, because it's a giving back process, you know. And I believe I, Anabela Miranda, I have almost 10 years of corporate experience. I have the obligation to give it back, you know, because like this is how we evolve as a human being, you know.